Blend, not replace. I used to be pretty susceptible to some like black and white thinking around how change happens in the world. I thought, oh yeah, once this politician is elected or once this new technology is adopted, then it's going to be a whole different world. Everything's going to change. And it's kind of like when you talk to, like, when you go to, if you went to college and you saw those tables of activists and you talk to the socialists or the communists, like, oh, once capitalism's gone, then we're going to be free to do this and this. It's just this real black and white naive thinking that you're going to somehow just completely get rid of the old system and bring in the new and start fresh. And sort of at the height of this, I read this book, and that's not a dig on this book. This is still my favorite nonfiction book ever. And it looks at really the history of how societies are organized. And then why now we're in the era of the sovereign individuals. It's written in the 90s. And it predicted a internet-based money before, of course, 10 years before the white paper was even written. But in this book, it talks about how Europe used to be 500 years ago, it was kingdoms, and then it went into nation states. And then it asked, well, what's going to come after the nation state? And I was like, yeah, I don't know, but it's going to come after the nation state. Yeah, we're going to like get rid of all the nation states, you know? All the governments are going to be displaced by some new form of societal organizational technology. And I started looking into startup societies, network states. I visited Honduras a couple times, check out Prospera, and I'm still as excited about it as ever. But something changed sort of in my black and white thinking. Oh, here's a list of many different startup societies that are starting out, whether it's in a developing nation, whether it's here in the US. I do see this sort of fragmented, might have a negative connotation, but these little startup communities, societies that are popping up in this, which makes sense given the internet and the way everything is sort of just kind of becoming smaller and more dynamic and malleable. But we really don't want that clean slate kind of start fresh, right? Because I thought about when has that happened in history? And usually that comes with an extraordinary amount of violence, right? Usually what happens instead is something like this, where around the time of the printing press and the height of the Roman Catholics' monopoly over Western Europe in the early 1500s or so, we had the Reformation. And then on the right, we have, after that, the different religions. There's no key or legend on there to tell you what's what, but you see England is pink because of the Anglican Church. You see the gray in Scandinavia for the Lutherans, and Europe broke apart into Catholicism and Protestantism. But that didn't mean it got rid of the Catholic Church. We're at the University of St. Thomas right now, and the church is as, I don't know, it's as, you know, it's not a monopoly anymore, but it's thriving. And so it wasn't about, oh, this new thing is going to get rid of the old. It's about blending. And we see that with the internet now. And to look at it from a more technological perspective and a more modern perspective, let's look at what the internet has done to media, okay? So Mr. Beast is the most popular YouTube channel. He has 330 million subscribers. That's like 5% of the world. Right? It's unprecedented, it's nuts. And of course he's standout, he's got the most, but there's still lots of other YouTube channels with 50 million, you know, tens of millions of subscribers, right? But that didn't mean, but just because there was this new way of reaching people, whether you're a podcaster like Joe Rogan or a YouTuber or a TikToker or whatever, it didn't mean that NBC went away or CNN. Here's Saturday Night Live. They said, well, we're going to be on TV at 10:30 on a Saturday night, but we're also going to have a YouTube channel, and they get more views on YouTube than they do, on television. So it's about blending. And these startup societies are still happening today. But again, this is more about how the existing institutions are going to incorporate the new technologies, the new systems. And tonight specifically, it's about how governments, US government, Minnesota government, South Dakota government, are kind of retrofitting. The way the US Capitol building, like I said, is now retrofitted with Ethernet cables and air conditioning, that wasn't built for it. The US as an institution wasn't built with the internet and blockchain in mind, but it is integrating it. And tonight's talks from our 4 presenters will show you a different angle on that theme. Thank you. Let's do it.